You know, I was listening to a radio broadcast yesterday, Genesis Radio out of the UK. The brother Dr. X, brother makes a lot of sense, but there is one respect that I take difference with the brother. The brother said that we are a conquered people. The brother said we are a conquered people. And the brother's attempting to understand the dynamics that he sees before him in Britain with regards to the attitudes and lifestyles exhibited by this conquered people. And he includes the Caribbean and the US, so myself, along in this scenario. I don't have a problem with the premise. I do, however, have a problem with the application. See, there's a lot of gray area. And when you juxtapose our people in what's referred to as the diaspora or the victims of the Maafa, when you refer to our people and you juxtapose them with the continental so-called African, you have to make the distinction that we are two separate peoples. And the reason we are two separate peoples is because we are the descendants of those who were set upon by the continental African. Let's not be mistaken in assuming that because we see immediate oppression at the hands of Europeans, we have to deal with how we got into the hands of Europeans, because it is relevant. And if you don't take that into consideration, you will not place proper context of our ancestry vis-a-vis that of the colonized continental African. There is a difference. And I submit to you that the biggest part of that difference can be seen in any city where you have continental Africans and the descendants of those who were set upon by continental Africans. Let's be truthful now. Let's get the story straight. It makes a difference when you're talking about a conquered people. You see, our ancestors were not conquered, they were betrayed. Our ancestors were not conquered by Europeans in a war. They were betrayed by continental Africans as a part of the slave trade. Now, when later on those Europeans who were trading with those continental Africans flipped on those continental Africans and conquered them and established colonialism upon them. That's not what happened to our ancestors. So when you say we are a conquered people, see, you have to clearly distinguish to whom you are referring that, because you clearly see the difference between continental Africans and blacks in the diaspora, in Jamaica, in Haiti, in Britain, in the USA, in Brazil. You see the difference. So we are not going to just have one blanket category, conquered people, and think that that automatically covers the manifestations of this oppression that we see, because it does not. In no way does it cover the entire experience that we see unfolding before our eyes. When you look at the continent of Africa today, you see the remnants of colonial societies, and they have militaries, and they have weaponry that they turn on their own citizenry, and they turn on each other. But they do not turn that same military on their former colonial masters. When you see blacks in the diaspora and they're fighting for dignity, and they're fighting for respect, and they're fighting for their economic survival, they're fighting against the former slave masters. They're not fighting against each other for that. Now, there is a legacy amongst the peoples of the diaspora, and it is a tribal legacy, and it manifests itself in these societies as black on black crime. But when you look back, Sankofa, look back to go forward. When you look back at the continent of Africa and you see all of that tribalism and that intertribal conflict, and we are literally a product of that intertribal conflict, because when they were turning on each other, when they were making war against each other, forcing one another to work for free, yeah, they did it first. And all of this bullshit about African slavery was different from European slavery, stop the bullshit. Let's hear it from the perspective of the victim. Never mind the perspective of the goddamn conqueror. Never mind the perspective of the enslaver. Never mind the perspective of the individuals who committed the goddamn crime. From the perspective of a descendant, of a victim of the goddamn crime, it's all the same. If somebody come and hit you in the goddamn head and drag you away and make you work for free, or if somebody buy you from that individual who hit you in the head and they didn't make you work for free, it's all the same shit. Let's be clear. Stop playing games. This is not some childlike understanding of mythological happenstances. This is reality that I'm dealing with. This really happened to our ancestors. We were really the victims of an international criminal business. That's what the slave trade became. An international criminal fucking business trading and selling and abusing our ancestors. So let's be clear. Let's cut the bullshit. All this nonsense about we were already all over the world, so some of us were already here. No, we were not in these English colonies. We were brought to these English colonies. Let's stop the nonsense, okay? All you cats out there denying the historical facts. Get a grip on yourself.